She thought she was just serving another wealthy customer, until she saw a piece of her past staring back at her from the Millionaire's wall. The restaurant buzzed with the usual clatter of silverware and murmured conversations, but for Emma, it was just another long night of balancing heavy trays and plastering on a polite smile. She had worked at the upscale bistro for years, serving the city's elite while barely making ends meet. Tonight was no different, or so she thought. As she weaved between tables, her manager hurried over, looking unusually flustered. "Table 7, he whispered. "VIP guest, no mistakes." Emma nodded, straightening her apron before making her way to the private dining section. When she arrived at the table, she froze. A man sat there, dressed in a crisp black suit, exuding quiet authority. His striking blue eyes were fixed on the menu, but something about him felt familiar. She cleared her throat. "Good evening, sir. What can I get for you?" He looked up, and for a split second, something flashed across his face. Recognition? Surprise? But just as quickly, he masked it. "Water for now," he said smoothly, his gaze lingering on her for a moment longer than necessary. Emma turned to fetch his drink, but as she did, her eyes landed on a framed photograph on the wall near his table. Her tray nearly slipped from her hands. Her breath hitched. It was a childhood photo of her. A much younger Emma, no more than 6 or 7, grinning at the camera with missing front teeth. But that wasn't the most shocking part. Standing beside her in the photo was a boy, slightly older, his arm casually slung over her shoulder, her stomach clenched. She knew that boy. Slowly she turned back to the man at the table, her hands trembling. He was watching her now, his expression unreadable. "Emma." His voice was softer this time, as if testing the name on his tongue. Her heart pounded. How did he know her name? And why was her picture, their picture, hanging in his house? Emma's mind raced as she stared at the man before her. Memories she had buried long ago clawed their way back. The laughter of childhood, the warmth of friendship, then the abrupt separation. She swallowed hard. Who are you?" The man leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled together as he studied her. "I was wondering when you'd recognize me," he said, a hint of amusement in his tone. "It's been a long time, Emma." Her heart pounded as she looked at him again, really looked at him. The sharp jawline, the piercing blue eyes, everything clicked into place. "Noah?" she whispered, barely believing her own words. He nodded, a small, knowing smile playing on his lips. "You still remember?" Emma's knees nearly buckled. She had spent years wondering what happened to Noah after he disappeared from her life. They had been inseparable as kids, 2 lost souls finding comfort in each other amidst the chaos of foster care. But one day he was just gone. No explanation. No goodbye. How is this possible?" she stammered. You're a millionaire?" He finished for her, raising a brow. "Let's just say life took me in a very different direction." Emma's head spun. She had spent her life struggling, working herself to exhaustion just to survive. And here he was, successful, powerful, a man who clearly had everything. "Why is my picture on your wall?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. Noah's gaze softened. "Because I never forgot." Her breath hitched. He leaned forward, his voice lower now, as if sharing a secret. "You were the only family I ever had, Emma. The one person who made me believe in something better. When I was adopted and taken away, I had no choice. But I promised myself I'd find you one day." Emma's throat tightened. She had spent years feeling abandoned, never knowing he had been looking for her all along. I don't understand, she whispered. Why didn't you— Because I only found you recently, he interrupted gently. And I wanted to be sure it was really you. Emma blinked rapidly, trying to process everything. Before she could say another word, her manager's sharp voice cut through the air. Emma, what are you doing just standing there? She flinched and turned, but Noah's voice stopped her. Wait. His tone carried authority now, the kind that came from a man used to being obeyed. We're not done talking. Her manager hesitated, eyeing Noah warily. Sir, I apologize if my employee is bothering you. She's not an employee, Noah interrupted, standing up. Not anymore. Emma's breath caught. Her manager's face paled. Excuse me? Noah's lips curled into a slow, deliberate smile. I just bought this restaurant. The room fell silent. Every waiter, every customer turned to stare. Emma's mouth went dry. What? Noah turned to her, his gaze steady. Emma, you're not going to serve tables anymore. Her world tilted. She had walked into work tonight expecting another ordinary shift. Instead, she had come face to face with her past and her future. But what exactly was Noah offering her? And more importantly, was she ready to take it? Emma sat across from Noah in the quiet corner of a high-end cafe, a place so elegant it felt worlds away from the restaurant she had worked at just hours ago. The weight of the past hour still pressed on her, making everything feel surreal. She stirred her coffee absent-mindedly, her mind racing. So, what now? You bought the restaurant, fired my boss, and now you're offering me— What exactly? Noah leaned back, studying her. A fresh start. Something you deserve. Emma scoffed. You make it sound so easy. His expression didn't change. It can be, if you let it. She shook her head, unable to wrap her mind around his sudden reappearance in her life. Why, Noah? Why now? We haven't spoken in years, and suddenly, you show up and want to change everything? He hesitated, as if weighing his next words carefully. Because I should have done this sooner. When I left for college, I thought success meant proving myself, building my empire. I didn't realize until recently that I left behind the one person who believed in me before I had anything to my name. Emma's breath hitched, but she quickly masked it with a dry laugh. That's a nice speech, but I don't need saving. I know. Noah leaned forward, his voice softer now. But maybe, just maybe, we both need each other. The words lingered between them, stirring something Emma wasn't ready to acknowledge. She set down her coffee. Okay, let's say I believe you. What's your grand plan? You buy me a new life? No, he said simply. I help you build one. Her skepticism remained, but there was something in his voice, earnest, unwavering, that made her pause. Before she could respond, a familiar voice interrupted. Well, if it isn't Emma getting cozy with the new owner. Emma turned to see her former manager, his smug expression barely hiding his bitterness. You think just because you have rich friends now you're better than us? He sneered. You'll never be anything more than a waitress who got lucky. Noah's jaw tightened, but Emma spoke first. She stood up, meeting her ex-boss's gaze with a newfound confidence. Luck didn't get me here. Respect did. Something you never understood. The man scoffed. We'll see how long that lasts. He walked away, leaving a heavy silence in his wake. Emma exhaled slowly, then looked at Noah. That offer, is it still on the table? A slow smile spread across his face. Always. And for the first time in a long time, Emma let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, her life was about to change forever. Emma's heart pounded so hard she thought everyone in the restaurant could hear it. The weight of Noah's words pressed down on her, making it hard to breathe. He had just bought the restaurant, just like that. And he was standing there, looking at her like she was someone important. Her manager, a middle-aged man with a permanent scowl, cleared his throat. "Sir, I don't understand what's happening here." Noah's expression didn't waver. "It's simple. I bought this place, which means I make the rules now. And my first decision?" His eyes flicked to Emma. "She doesn't work here anymore." Emma's hands clenched into fists. "Noah, you can't just—" "I can," he interrupted, his voice firm but not unkind. "Emma, do you really want to keep working here? Taking orders from people who don't respect you? Scraping by, day after day?" She swallowed hard. Of course she didn't. But that didn't mean she could just walk away. "I need this job, Noah. I have bills to pay." His gaze softened. "I know, and I'm offering you something better." She frowned. "What do you mean?" "I'm not just here to buy this restaurant, Emma." He hesitated, as if choosing his words carefully. "I came to find you, and now that I want to help you." Emma's stomach twisted. The words should have been comforting, but they weren't. "I don't need charity," she muttered, looking away. Noah sighed. "It's not charity. It's an opportunity." Her manager, still standing there awkwardly, finally spoke up. "I don't know what kind of personal history you two have, but this is highly unprofessional." Noah didn't even look at him. "You're fired." The manager's jaw dropped. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," Noah said, his tone cool and controlled. "I don't like the way you treat your employees. Pack your things." Emma watched in stunned silence as her manager sputtered, his face turning red. He looked like he wanted to argue, but one glance at Noah's unwavering expression shut him up. With a sharp huff, he turned and stomped toward the back office. Emma exhaled shakily. "Noah, this is crazy. I just did what needed to be done," he said simply. Then, lowering his voice, "And I meant what I said. I want to help you, Emma, but only if you'll let me." A dozen emotions crashed over her at once. Confusion. Shock. A tiny flicker of hope she wasn't ready to acknowledge. She had spent her whole life surviving on her own. Letting someone in, trusting someone again, felt terrifying. But when she looked into Noah's eyes, she saw something she hadn't seen in years. Someone who truly cared. And for the first time in a long time, she wasn't sure she wanted to walk away.